You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is round 2 of our Wednesday morning show. I got Karen Schoen calling all the way from we're in Mariana, Greenwood area up there, but she's kind of involved with what's going on in Tallahassee right now. And right now, committee meetings are meeting left and right. George Gaynor last week voted to keep red light cameras in Florida. He could have cast a vote to get rid of them, but he decided that counties need to be able to make the decision whether they should have red light cameras or not. And that was kind of silly. And then we have Jay Trumbull, who, believe it or not, I thought did a pretty good job of saying that, denouncing, along with a lot of other legislators, that the Economic Development Alliance is nothing more than highway robbery, stealing people's money and giving it to private businesses. And right now, Governor Scott's going around Bay County and all over Florida in his own personal plane, and telling everybody how we need this tax money to lure businesses into Florida because we don't have good weather here. We don't have good low tax rates here, and there's no reason to come to Florida other than unless we can give you incentives. Karen, what do you think about that? Do you think that the only reason to move to Florida is due to incentives and cronyism?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
I mean, after all, Florida is 47th in education. Why wouldn't you want to bring your children here to get educated?
Well, it's almost like the dumbing down is obvious. You look on today's front page of the paper, you see the Chamber of Commerce representatives. You see all the leaders of Bay County right there saying, we need to give away our tax money to lure people in. How we got this company coming from this airport. We got something that's coming into Benefit St. Joe. What was the name of the company, Anna Marie? It's Project Granola. No, Gondola, not granola, Gondola, that they've been keeping very secret, close to the vest, not letting anyone know the private dealings are doing to bring in this company to Bay County, and it's going to bring at least, hundreds of jobs at $65,000 a year or more. And we've heard this.
What usually happens with that?
What happens?
Sadly, the jobs don't appear. And
Right.
when they do, many of them are H-1B visa jobs, displacing Americans to jobs. And when you bring in foreign corporations, and I'm not sure what this one
is a foreign corporation.
We are subject to.
It's a foreign
And
corporation.
this is what Governor Scott seems to feel that should be filled with Florida's money. Americans are not good enough for these jobs. No, he's busy out soliciting in Europe and in China, all over the place. I don't know if people realize that we have a communist Chinese charter school as a result of Governor Scott's wonderful work.
Where is it, at the Capitol grounds? Is that where it's at? Is that the legislator, the communist? Oh, that's the charter. No, I shouldn't say that. But yeah, I got to admit, Jay Trumbull did something good.
We also have radical Islamic Gulen charter schools, and they go by different names. And we're doing a lot of work on that. And we're asking legislators to do an investigation because, unfortunately, the Department of Education has no knowledge of what's going on in their charter schools, and yet we're going to be told that charter schools are the answer.
Let me ask you, now, I know that we may disagree. You're a former teacher and everything, and forgive me, I am a product of public education. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. I don't know. But I'm a product.
No, we are a product of public education when there was actually education and not indoctrination.
Well, that's where I'm going. I don't think we have education as more as we have indoctrination, and the worst thing that we have done as parents is allow the government to train or indoctrinate our children. And I really think we need to return public education. It needs to be gone back private. And people go, well, that's going backwards. But if I'm not mistaken, one of the planks, one of the tenets of the Communist Manifesto about number 5 is free public education.
That's right. And you know something, public education, as I know, was really good at one time. The problem is, as normal, what we are being guided into for a fix of education will not fix education. Because what happens usually is that the legislators and the bureaucrats, in order to find a solution, they pick the item that has the least impact on the problem, and then they go and try to fix that.
Oh, yeah.
And that never works because it will always require more money, more time, more everything. and it's not going to work because it's not the source of the problem, and we see that over and over and over again.
I think Cochran even talked about it. Senator Cochran, he talked about the problem with education is Representative Cochran was talking about the problem that we have out there is not that we don't have the ability to train students and teach them, it's the bureaucracy. We have so much layer of bureaucracy that no one wants to try anything new because everyone's trying to hold on to their jobs. No one wants to take a chance because chance would require innovation, new ideas, and we don't want to upset the status quo. And that seems to be the biggest, I mean, it's not me saying that, and just me, but no one wants to step out. Everybody's worried about taking care of their own little fiefdom, so to speak, and no one wants to say, hey, we're going to take a chance, we're going to do something different. And the charter schools, in a way, are saying that. We want to do something different, and they're taking a chance. And
well, the only way that will work is if the schools choose their own curricula, because the problem is not the location of where the children learn. And he's right to some degree and wrong to some degree, because it doesn't matter where a child will learn. If they're motivated, they'll learn any place.
Sure.
So the location, charter schools, is not the answer. The problem and the fault is with the curricula and the faulty textbooks that contain massive errors, which can be found, so folks, you could write this down, Citizens for, so it would be CFNS, Citizens for National Security,
right.
CFNS.us.
All right.
And on that website, this is Citizens for National Security. They went through the textbooks in Florida. You can find the textbooks. You can find the errors in the textbooks. And these books are still in Florida. So if children are learning the wrong information, why are we surprised that they grow up and don't know anything?
Well, I just got finished listening to the book on Audible that I haven't read or listened to, or hadn't read since I was in junior high school, called 1984. And and I forgot about the tenets that they had. They had 3 tenets, and one of them happened to be ignorance is strength.
That's right.
And I'm going, whoa, and war is peace.
Yes.
And I'm going,
that one always got me.
And I'm going, oh my Lord, this sounds like what we're being fed every day. But the dumbing down of our children has been something that's been going on for a long time, because as you say, just to be able to question, things that are happening around you. Right now, we're questioning Enterprise Florida. And we've got everybody from, all upset. Oh my God, you're questioning the goose that lays the golden egg. We've got to have that. Why? Because it puts money in your pocket? Well, yeah, it does a little bit of that, but the biggest thing is to help my fellow man. No, that's called false philanthropy. What you're doing is taking money at the point of a gun from someone to give it to somebody else without their permission. That's thievery. Theft.
Well, and it's also interesting, if you listen to what they're saying, they're using the word fascist, and they're calling everybody a fascist. And if you ask them what's a fascist, they have no idea.
Yeah, well...
So we are locked into words that are meaningless.
Okay, well, what is...
Nobody knows the correct meaning, so you can't really ever have a conversation. And then there is the total intolerance. If I disagree with you, how can you have a conversation if everything always has to be the same? That's not a conversation. Conversation is an exchange of ideas. If there are no ideas, what are you talking about?
Well, it always has to be. We have the people that on both sides that somehow or another just don't want to listen. But fascism, Benito Mussolini said it best. Just in case you wonder what that is where business, private business, and government come together to form a perfect merger. That is fascism.
And you know what that's called? Public-private partnership.
Yeah, no, public-private. When I was running for county commissioner, I called them on that. I said, public-private partnerships, that's just another word for fascism. You could have dropped a pin in the auditorium when I said that. They looked at me like...
Because what they are taught is that if you're a fascist, it means you're somebody who dissents against the government. That's not what a fascist is. A fascist is a partnership of government and business. Well, that's what fascism really means.
And that's exactly what it is. And we're seeing this every day with the banks, nationalization of banks. When things get nationalized, and we had the $700 billion bailout, That's nothing more than fascism to the nth degree. And we have. I cannot believe how the right and the left play us against each other, and they're both doing this. It's kind of like Lucy. They're always pulling the football up right when we get ready to kick it. Like to Charlie Brown. And I see this. They're doing. One year it's the Republicans holding the football, and the next year it's the Democrats holding the football, and no one seems to be able to do anything other than kick the problems down the road. They will.
And then we say why, and then I go back to in school because they're not taught to have new ideas. They're not taught common sense. They're not taught respectful discourse, which is you and I can have an agreement, but I still respect you. Just because we don't agree on something doesn't mean you're a bad person, I'm a bad person. It just means that we disagree. And usually new ideas come out of disagreement.
It does. That's exactly how it works.
Where are our new ideas? We don't have any.
Because we can't disagree effectively and get conversation. All we get is what I call 1 minute, 30-second sound bites or 15-second sound bites.
That's what we get.
That's all we have. We have two bills that are very important in the Florida legislature, and one of them addresses the high-speed rail, and it actually requires the legislature to oversee the expenses because they are not supposed to come in at the expense of Floridians. They are supposed to be private. They're turning out not to be private. They're going to turn out to be a public-private
I was going to say, there it is, right there, public-private partnership.
So this bill would eliminate that because there would be required legislative oversight, which is a lot different than the legislature may. They're using the right word. So that's a very important bill. And the other bill is also very important because it changes the wording of what charter schools would be, or the effect of Americans getting money into the states to be able to educate locally. And it makes the demand on the local school board and takes away the fact that they have to purchase supplies and materials and curricula through the Florida Department of Education. So those are two very important bills to watch.
And the Department of Florida Education, and that the teachers union will be fighting tooth and nail to lose.
Exactly.
They do not want to lose
any power.
That's why we have
to also to protect our children. And the unions have, believe me, as a union member, they have no interest in education. It is all about money. That's all they care about. And it's a very sad thing because that's not, of course, the way the unions were started, but sadly that's the way they have become.
Samuel Gompers, who was a cigar maker who formed the first union of cigar makers in America, would roll over in his grave. Because he said a fair day's work for a fair day's wage. That's what they were looking for. And I don't mind paying someone for what they're worth, but I don't like anyone telling me I've got to pay you X amount of dollars when you're not worth that. That's not the free market.
No, that's not. And I don't like somebody taking my money and giving it to candidates that I don't agree with. I don't like them taking my money and going for causes that I don't agree with. That was not the union. It was not to be political. It was to help the teachers and the students, and it's doing neither.
Well, they do that. They do that all the way down from the teachers' union to the Chamber of Commerce in this town.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. They want to protect.
And you are absolutely right. We should be getting rid of Enterprise Florida. If people don't want to come here on their own and we have to bribe them, who needs them?
That's right. We got to go, Karen. Thank you so much for being on here. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow morning. Bye-bye, everybody.
James Auto Center, we fix it right.